Good afternoon. So today I'm going to go over how you can use AI in the online classroom. And so I want to talk about how when AI first started in November of 2022, both of my schools that I work at were kind of like blindsided. Like, what do you do with AI? How do you use AI in the classroom? And so at first, I was a skeptic. I said to my colleague, well, I think that using AI is a cheating tool because it allows students to just look up homework answers on the internet, on ChatGPT. And then my colleague said to me, well, Yvonne, you need to play with AI a little more, and you're going to see that AI is a great way for brainstorming ideas and essay revision and more. And I was very skeptical at first, but then I started playing around with the different AI tools. And then I came to the realization that he was right. And I was fascinated by AI because actually, what I was fascinated with is I would ask AI a question, and then within seconds, it had the answer. Now, granted, AI is not always accurate with its answers. And if you use AI, you have to fact check your answers to make sure that AI is not hallucinating. And what do I mean by hallucinating? I mean that sometimes AI makes up its facts or it makes up or its sources if it can't find enough information about that topic on the internet. So I went and I started to play around with AI. And like I said, I was fascinated at how fast they could do the AI could come up with answers. And pretty soon I became an advocate of AI. And um, and it was about that time that my school was coming up with AI policy. And so I teach writing. And so I told my students in my writing classes that there are three stages to the writing process. There's the pre-writing, in which you create the outline. Then there's the writing stage, in which you create a rough draft and you transform the outline into a rough draft, 5-paragraph essay rough draft. And then you have rewriting, where you rewrite and revise the essay. And so I found that with AI, you can use AI for the first phase of the writing process and the third phase of the writing process. That is during the pre-writing phase and during the rewriting phase. And then I tell students, however, you have to write your own essay, not use AI to write your essay for you, simply because, as I mentioned before, AI can hallucinate its facts. It can hallucinate its sources. So therefore, you still have to write your essay the old-fashioned way, and that is to go to the online library and look up your peer-reviewed sources yourself. I also teach students that the credible way to find sources is to use Kapow. C stands for currency. That means that you find sources within the last 10 years. A stands for authority. This means that your article is written by an expert, such as a scientist, a doctor, or a college-educated person. And then P stands for purpose. So what's the purpose of the article? If the article is an ad or an advertisement, and then you know not to trust that article because advertisements are known to exaggerate their facts in order to get you to buy the product. So you always have to make sure that whatever it is that you read is not a advertisement. O in Kapow stands for objectivity. And objectivity means that the article covers both sides of an issue to make it objective and neutral. W stands for writing purpose or writing style, and therefore the style of the article should be professional, no grammatical mistakes, and it should have like follow one thesis statement, one central idea, and then it uses its body paragraphs to back up its ideas, to back up the thesis statement. And so if your article fulfills Kapow, then it is a credible source. Also, if you get your source from .org, .gov, or .com, and .edu, those websites are also credible websites. So you don't trust AI for sources, and you don't trust Wikipedia for sources. And that's why it's all the most credible source that you can use is the peer-reviewed sources that you find in your online library. And so today I want to talk about, and right now all I did was talk about how to use AI with academic writing. But today's talk, I want to talk about how to use AI for creative writing. And so I'm going to open up my PowerPoint and share that with you, the many different ways that you can have fun using artificial intelligence. And I've written 2 books about this. And today's lecture, I'm going to focus on the creative uses of AI. And so here is the book that I wrote, and it's available on Amazon. Okay, and it's called Fun Ways to Use AI in the Online Classroom. So Fun Ways to Use AI in the Online Classroom is a guide for educators to enhance online teaching with AI. Key features include insights on writing technology evolution, AI-powered storytelling, interactive AI games, integration of AI art, poetry, and music, practical tools for grading and management with AI, guidance on building your own chatbot, Canva integration for visual design, AI applications for ESL and language learning, and an AI literacy syllabus for future readiness. So this book aims to empower teachers and students to promote creativity, critical thinking, and collaboration, making learning more active, more interactive. So this book is on Amazon. And boy, I spent a lot of time writing this book. So I'm going to now share my PowerPoint in which I will show you the fun ways in which you can use AI. So let's see, I'm going to share my screen. And here is the PowerPoint, and I will have it ready for you in a second. So give me a second to set this up, and then you'll see the PowerPoint. So, fun ways to add AI to your classroom, which is the exact name of my book. And so you can use AI in the classroom. You can use AI for storytelling, for music creation, for art creation, for essay revision, for essay feedback, AI for brainstorming ideas, AI for teaching AI to write like you, AI for improving resumes, cover letters, and emails, AI for language learning. So if you use AI in voice mode on your phone, you can speak to the AI and really improve your English. AI to explain difficult concepts in simple English. So I'm going to go over each one of these. Okay, so that's going to be the content of today's lesson. First of all, what is AI? So artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think and learn like humans. The term AI can also apply to any machine that exhibits traits associated with a human mind, such as learning and problem solving. So how do you use AI in your classroom? AI gives personalized feedback. AI is available 24/7. AI is non-judgmental and is a safe space for students to ask questions about class. AI can adapt the level of its output to the learner's level of mastery of English. So let's unpack this. So what do I mean by AI can give personalized feedback? So let's say that you upload your paper to AI, and then you ask AI, what do you think of this paper? And then you give the prompt, give essay feedback on grammar, on thesis statement, essay structure, and tone. And then you press the button after you cut and paste your essay into it without your name and school. And then AI gives you excellent personalized feedback on every single grammar mistake or essay structure mistake that you could use to correct your essay and create a much professional sounding essay for your paper. Or you can use it for, and AI is available 24/7. So what if your teacher is asleep or the tutor is unavailable? So what you would do is you could use AI at midnight or at 3 a.m. when you get home from work and everybody else is asleep. And so AI is available 24/7. It's there just for you. And AI is non-judgmental. It's not going to laugh at you and say, oh, that's such a stupid question. Or, what are you, dumb or something? So AI would never judge you. So AI is a safe space for you to ask questions. AI can adapt the level of its output to the learner's level of mastery of English. And so let's say you speak really very little English, AI can then adapt to that level. So an AI can also speak Spanish, Chinese, Italian. So if you speak to AI in your own native language, the AI will respond back to you in that language. Whether you use the text-based version of AI or the voice mode version of AI. And if you're a very busy teacher, and let's say there's only so many hours in a day, and you have so many students, AI can help you give grading feedback. And AI can help teachers save time by creating rubrics. AI can create lesson plans. It can create a syllabi, and you can use AI for grading feedback. So, guys, do you use AI for grading a syllabi or lesson plan grading? I know I do. This one, AI for storytelling, this is, for me personally, this is the most fun part of using AI. For AI can be used to tell all kinds of stories, from science fiction to romance to horror. As a matter of fact, I've used AI to help me write 3 fiction novels. So have you used AI to write stories? And so here in my book, I talk about all the different kinds of stories that you can use AI to help you write. And I gave all kinds of examples in my book about how AI can be used for writing fairy tales, nonfiction stories, fiction, romance, and horror. And that's what I put onto the title, the book cover of my book, of my book. And I put it all the different kinds of creative writing stories. Oh, and another thing is you could also use AI to come up with creative story prompts. So if you're stuck on an idea and you don't know, well, what should I write about for my creative writing class, right? And the teacher wants you to write a really creative story using your imagination, but then you blank out. Well, then you can use AI to come up with as many story prompts as you want. So that's really cool. I've used AI to brainstorm ideas all the time because I find that AI never loses or never runs out of ideas. And AI never gets tired of you. AI is always available for you and it's always there for you. AI can be used to create music for videos. So I've actually used, and so I talk about that in my book, okay? I talk about how I used AI for the music tracks and some of the videos that you see on the Professor H Writing channel. And so AI also can be used for art creation. And so some of these pictures that I've used on the cover of my book, were AI generated. And so I've used a lot of text-to-picture AI generators to make great pictures to go alongside your creative stories. And the text-to-speech helps neurodiverse ADHD students and students with dyslexia. So what do you think about AI-generated music? Now, I know that there's a lot of talk about copyright issues and such like that. And so we can get into that as well during our discussion. AI can be used to teach students to revise their essays. I let students use ChatGPT for peer review feedback. So if you're in my ENGL 101 class, you know exactly what I'm talking about because I introduce AI when I have students have their post their rough drafts to the forums, and then I assign students to peer review each other's papers. And so students have until Wednesday to post a initial rough draft of their narrative essays. And then they have from Wednesday to Sunday to use ChatGPT to peer review each other's papers. And then the prompt that I teach students to use is give essay feedback on grammar, essay structure, tone, and sentence structure. Do not rewrite essay. Give examples of grammar errors, sentence structure errors, and the like. And then right away, ChatGPT then offers you really great output on feedback, personal feedback just for your paper. And so students love using ChatGPT for peer review feedback. Now, before AI came out, my students were very reluctant to give peer review because they were afraid of offending other students, or they felt like they were going to be laughed at because of their lack of knowledge of grammar, or they didn't want to, let's see, did I do that one? Anyway, but now I notice a lot more confidence as people would use ChatGPT for peer review feedback in order to correct their essays. So it bears repeating that I tell students they can use AI for idea generation, in other words, outlining, but not and for essay revision. In other words, for the first phase of the writing process and the third phase of the writing process. But they still have to write, you still have to write your own essay because AI hallucinates. Why do I repeat that all the time? Because it is so important for you, the student, to learn how to use AI ethically. I tell students that if they're stuck for ideas or if they have writer's block, then AI is a great way for the pre-writing stage of the writing process. So let's say you can't come up with a topic for your persuasive essay. Then you would give prompt, give me an essay topic, give me 10 essay topics for a persuasive essay, or give me 10 essay topics for a narrative essay. And then I personally use AI to brainstorm ideas for my book topics. I sometimes would use AI as a kind of research assistant. I would say, well, if I'm going to do a book series, what other book would come after this first book? Or if I have some really interesting research, and then I would give AI the outline of my book, and then I would ask AI, so what chapter do you think this little research tidbit can fit into the book? And then AI is so logical, unlike me sometimes. And it will tell me, well, you know what? This research tidbit would fit into chapter 2 and chapter 5. And here's why. And so it's like having an editor by my side 24/7, an editor that never complains, that's never tired, and is always positive and always there for me and truly cares about my books and about my, whatever it is I'm stuck on. And so students can use AI to write paper outlines. So when they get to the point where they know what they're going to write about, but then they don't know how to organize their ideas, then they could use AI to help them organize their paper into a coherent outline. And then when they transform that outline into a rough draft, then it's like easy peasy. And so students can use AI to write paper outlines. So guys, do you use AI to brainstorm ideas? So if there were people here at this point, we would discuss, and all the different teachers would discuss how they would use AI to brainstorm ideas. Now, you don't just brainstorm ideas just for ENGL 101, just for English compositions. You can brainstorm ideas for like if you're writing a business email, if you're writing a psychology paper, if you're writing a book, if you're doing your cover letter and you get stuck, it can be used for all different fields. And I mentioned that in my book as well, my first book. And here is the greatest part about my book is you can train AI to write just like you. And so everyone's overall favorite topic and their favorite part of this book, which is in chapter 2 of my book, in which I go over in detail how you can train AI to write just like you. And so you give AI a few paragraphs of your own writing. Then you tell AI to analyze your grammar, punctuation, tone, diction, and sentence structure. Then you tell AI in customized instructions to use this analysis to write just like you. And so AI has the ability to write just like you or any author that you train it on. And so I think there was a journalist and his friend trained his AI to write just like that famous journalist. And the journalist was amazed that his friend could write articles that looked just like that famous journalist. And so you can train AI to write just like you. This actually is the best, most favorite part of everybody's discussion. Whenever I give this presentation, this is the part where everybody stops, and this is where we talk about it the most, is everybody's like, really? It can write just like me? And I go, yeah. And that way you don't have to do the writing. You would just tell AI to write in your voice. So and a lot of people at this point find it fascinating to see how their writing can be analyzed by AI. I myself had my writing analyzed, and I found out that I write in a very conversational, personal, caring manner. I use a lot of complex sentences, which I didn't realize I did. And you actually learn a lot about your voice. So if you've ever wondered, but what is my narrative voice? This is the way to find out. And have AI analyze and give you personalized feedback on what your narrative voice is. Then you tell AI to write in that narrative voice. And that is such fun. And I write a lot more in my book. AI for business correspondence. You can teach students to use AI ethically. Tell them you can use AI to create different tones in email, from a friendly email to friends and family to formal correspondence to faculty or bosses. You can use AI to improve your resume, to make your resume match the job description. You can use AI to match the cover letter to the job description. You still need to personalize the AI template with your own writing style and your own experiences. So how many of you use AI to write emails? And so you can modify. To me, what's fun, and this is when I teach students that in the part of the ENGL 101, where I teach them that you always have to consider audience when you write. Before you write anything down, consider your audience. Is your audience going to be friends and family? Then you would want to use a friendly, persuasive tone. Or is your audience going to be your boss at work? Then you want to use a more formal, authoritative tone. And so I encourage students to play around with the different tones of AI, in which you use one sentence, the same sentence. John, I think the package has arrived. Please go down to the desk and pick up your package. Let's say that's your email. And then you have AI write that same sentence in a friendly tone, persuasive tone, in a formal, authoritative tone, and then you see the difference. Grammarly also does the same thing. It helps you maintain, that is, the AI helps you maintain either a professional tone or a friendly tone. And so this is a great way to learn what exactly is a professional tone. Also, in essay writing, when I want to teach students that when you write an essay, you use the most formal tone of English. You use third person case, which is he, she, and they, in which then you can focus on the facts. You don't use first person case in which you focus on the reader. You don't use second person case, you and your, in which you focus on what did I just say? You don't use first person case, I, my, we, us, your. That's when you focus on the writer. And then you don't use second person case, you and your. That's when you focus on the reader. Yeah, that was a mistake I made. Yeah, sorry about that. And then you use only third person case to focus on the facts. And so you can use AI to get rid of all of the first and second person case and then put your research essay only in third person case. And also the most exciting thing, that latest exciting thing you could use AI for is if you're a ESL student and you want to improve your English, then you can talk to the voice mode method on your phone of AI, and then you could have a conversation with it. You can talk to it naturally, and you can learn many different idioms. And so you use ChatGPT voice mode on your phone, and you can, if you're an American, for instance, and you want to learn another language, then let's say you want to learn French, then you can talk to AI in French, and then the AI will respond to you back in French. Both the text-based AI and the voice-activated AI both can respond to you in whatever language you tell it to. I've actually tried it out with Chinese, and I have to tell you, it's got a great Chinese Mandarin accent. So it's a great way. And also, if you've learned a foreign language in the past, but you've gotten rusty, you can use the voice mode to keep your conversational French or conversational Spanish from getting too rusty, and you could still remember it. And so I tried it out with Chinese, and it was a blast. And so you can use AI ChatGPT on your phone, voice mode, and you can practice speaking French, Spanish, and learn how to hold a conversation in another language. And the voice mode is a great way for ESL students to improve their fluency. And also, ChatGPT can translate any language from French to Chinese, and I tried it out in Chinese, and then it came back with Chinese characters, which is totally cool. And then last but not least, you can use AI to explain difficult concepts in class. So let's say you don't understand what exactly is a thesis statement, and you can ask AI to give examples of what that is. And you can have AI with a prompt, explain to me what is a thesis statement in simple to in easy to understand English, as if I'm a 5-year-old. I remember taking an economics class or financial literacy class, and I didn't understand the difference between stocks and shares. And so AI explained it to me. I said, explain to me the difference between stocks and shares in the stock portfolio and of the stock market. And AI did a great job saying that well, it used a metaphor of a pizza. One of them means the slice of the pizza. I think that's shares. And then stock means the whole pizza. And anybody can understand that. And so AI is really great at using metaphors and also using easy to understand English to explain difficult concepts. So if you're taking a psychology class, a biology class, a chemistry class, and you don't understand some kind of medical term, you can ask AI to explain that medical term in easy to understand English. If you're learning grammar and you don't know what is subject-verb agreement, can you explain what subject-verb agreement is in Spanish and give Spanish examples? And it will explain it to you in Spanish, if Spanish is your native language. Or if you just want to practice subject-verb agreement with the AI, you can ask AI to give you examples. Can you explain that again? What is subject-verb agreement? And can you use easy to understand English so I can understand what it is? Or I still don't understand the textbook. Can you give me more examples of this particular topic? And then AI can give you many, many examples of subject-verb agreement. So let's say you finally understand what it is, and you want to practice subject-verb agreement for your test. Then you can ask ChatGPT to create test questions for you so that you can practice for your test. So those are the many ways in which you can ask AI to explain difficult concepts and then have AI explain it to you in easy to understand English. And so you can have students explain difficult to understand textbook concepts in their own language. There are many different kinds of AI tools. I would say there's like hundreds of them out there. But the best, not the best, the ones that are most well known are ChatGPT. That's Bard AI, I think. No, that's anyways, Gemini AI, Bard AI, and then there's ChatGPT, and then there's Meta AI. And also, I couldn't fit them all in here. The one that I like is Google Notebook AI, where LM, where you can put in all of your sources, right? You upload whatever sources you want, and then it can then create a summary. It can create a briefing guide. It can, oh, and get this, this is the part that blows people's minds. It can create an AI generated podcast. I once uploaded a 700-page book into Google Notebook AI, and then it created an AI generated podcast about my book. And then nowadays, you can even join the podcast, and it's just like a real podcast. It's as if you're on a radio show. And then you say, well, what about chapter 2? Can you tell me more about chapter 2? And then, you can interrupt them these days, the podcast. And then they'll talk about chapter 2. So it's a great way for marketing books. I haven't exactly tried it that way. I've only put in my 700-page book, and then I had it generate an AI podcast. Also, another thing is that I talk about in this book. I'm not sure if I talk about it in this PowerPoint. Is you can learn how to create your own chatbot, and so I go over that in my book on how you can create your own chatbot, how you can play games, use it for music, art, and so then at this point in the discussion, I would ask if there was a lot of faculty hanging out, and in the comments, I would say, but what other AI tools do you use? So that way you don't listen to me talk all the time. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the ethical use of AI. So you have to make sure that AI has a lot of biases, because the biases is based on the data that the AI was trained on. So be aware of AI biases, be aware of copyright infringement. So in other words, if you're going to make those text to art pictures, don't do a picture of, say, Mickey Mouse or of Superman or something like that, because those are all copyrighted. And so you should always, when you make those AI pictures, you try to make it as original as possible. And then now I was reading that the U.S. Copyright Office has come out with new guidelines for AI generated work. So you guys should Google that, what the AI, because it keeps changing. You have to be aware of deep fake videos and misinformation. And so you should not just believe everything that you see on social media. And so deep fake videos and misinformation is a serious problem, because they do it so well. AI can make a fake video so convincingly that it can convince you that a very important famous person is drunk, which is what they did, make that person look drunk, and that person was never drunk, and stuff like that. And so, so deep fake videos is something to look out for. Fake sources. So I tell students not to use AI if they want to, if they're writing a paper, because AI hallucinates its sources. Oh, and then there was this story of a couple of lawyers. One was in the United States, the other one was in Australia, and both of them used AI to look up legal cases. And then it turned out those cases didn't exist because AI made them up. And I think the one in the United States had to pay a $5,000 fine. And then the other one got reprimanded, I think, the one in Australia. Data privacy. So I tell students when they upload their essays into AI, do not place their name and school. You always have to take out the name and the school. That way you can make sure that not everybody has your name. And when you use it for your resume, don't upload your name, your address, your phone number. You have to cut all of that out, and then you can ask AI for a template of how your resume can be more like the job description or something like that. DeepSeek. Yeah, not enough is known about that. So that's why I haven't commented on that particular, the latest AI. So what other ethical, in other words, DeepSeek comes from another country. So you have to be careful about the data privacy of all of the AI that you use. And you have to ask yourself, where was this AI made? Is it like an invasion of privacy and stuff like that? And so you always have to research and look it up to make sure that the AI you're using is not a data privacy issue. And so then at this point, I would ask, and I ask the other people in the room, what other ethical issues for AI are there? And then at this point, everybody would have their own, AI, ethical AI story. I remember one person talked about how AI was always biased towards a certain group of people, usually males, and why males are the only business people portrayed in AI generated pictures. And that's because most of the data that AI was trained on came off the internet, and there's a lot of pictures of men in business. And so that's where a lot of the biases comes from, because we humans all have biases. And if AI is trained off of human generated data, the human generated data is all going to contain biases. And then the AI inherits those biases. So you need to be very careful of being aware that AI has biases. And so here, what kind of, so here's where you can contact me. You can always contact me at this number, or you can contact me at yvonne.ho@lapu.edu. So that's it. And that's it for this AI, the fun ways to use AI in the classroom. And there's so many different, I just went over just a little bit of how you can use AI in the classroom. And if you want to know more and have more examples, then you can buy my book, Fun Ways to Use AI in the Classroom. And I am very proud of my book. Look how thick it is, huh? Isn't that something? Anyway, it just proves that I put a lot of work into this book. I also wrote other books about media literacy, digital literacy, and AI literacy. And I call that my Information Age book series. I've also written a book on how to create better prompts, prompt engineering, the prompt engineering power. So all of my books are located on Amazon. If you're interested in getting more information about my books, you can always email me and I could tell you about it. Currently, I'm working on other books. One of them is How to Infuse Your Faith into Online Classroom, and that's for Christian universities. And I also want, and this is, of course, this is upcoming. I want to do a series of books on how to avoid teacher burnout and how to take care of yourself, teacher self-care and student self-care. And also want to eventually write a book about why I got into teaching in the first place. So all of that is upcoming. And so if you have any questions, you can always feel free to email me at any time. And if you really like this video, don't forget to subscribe to the Professor H Writing channel. And so that's it for today. And I hope I didn't bore you to death about AI. And I hope you all have a great day and have a wonderful day and have a wonderful time with AI.